Give you this as a good luck charm. It's the wooden spoon. Thank you, Tommy.
Appreciate it, thank you.
Shout out to Frankie there, hitting the wooden spoon to Tommy, one of the teams that I would have not anticipated to go out first. TBE, the Legends, the Titans, as Enigma said early, Tommy the prodigal son has returned and has exited early, but here's the deal. They land up near Tarak Village. He said it himself, everyone knows where we land and we've got to be hyper aware of the potential contest. So Nofo, Dongy, Big Pavo and co, they're running into a little bit of mix here.
What's crazy about this Dongy play here, and I don't know if he's gonna win it. He is! Somehow comes out on top. Big Pavo though pushes the equation, is able to answer back. I was talking to Vonbut in the bathroom right before we got started. He said, hey, TBE changed up their spots. They might be coming to us. Somebody's contesting them. Well, apparently he was right. TBE, the first team out, is ridiculous. They've still got the momentum, but Zach pushing the equation, trying to answer back against Big Pavo.
Yeah, but with one shot on that Signal 50 allowing you to get the crack, you can just immediately close the distance with that Lockman SMG. And that's why on the desk earlier they were saying how many eliminations that SMG has, but Braxton, Empathy, all of them popping off, and I've been keeping an eye on that. But let's check in with some of our previous winners, Blade, Savvy Ultras, and Vortex. You can see Blade already on 2 eliminations, a good chunk of damage, and navigating just the outer edge of Ring.
Yeah, this is going to be a tough spot. Again, as we're kind of nearing the mid-game of the first map of the Global Finals, you've got a previous winner and, of course, a previous solo YOLO winner. Blade went from, like, 160th total earnings on our earnings leaderboard to, like, 4th because he won $100,000 individually and won the World Series of Warzone last year. A ridiculous feat, and they're, of course, trying to go back-to-back. This is going to be tough, though. This rotation in, we're already into the mid-game. Other teams have been here for a while, set up, ready to go, waiting for them to rotate in. So I'll be curious if they can come out of this inside the top 10 or so teams. We saw 44 teams left. Signal, though, certainly can clear you a path.
Get a good chunk of that map, and that picture-in-picture, you can see we're pulling straight over to Rohan Oil. Team Smixy, no stranger to that area, will likely have already been, but let me tell you, I saw the elimination feed earlier, and I saw a little loadout single next to Flanked with a death, so maybe he got crushed a little bit, so we'll have to keep in and see how they're doing. Sure.
Yeah, hey, there's a lot of ways to die in Warzone, that's for sure. We'll see if we can get a clip of that later. Blade on 2, couple knocks. Again, team, game, kills aren't everything, but on the scoreboard, kills are everything. Especially with the flare gun in game, you can get people back so easily, even in the late game circles. We're gonna have a lot of floaters as we get into those final couple circles, so audience, pay attention to the number of teams. FIFA kill, first time on main stage, and his team is full wipe. Oki able to come back, but FIFA in trouble without a single kill to his name. FIFA goes down, I don't know what's happening, but it's King AJ in Wars pushing the equation. This looks a lot like stage 1.
That's a little Mia violence, if I've got to say, for EU. You think back to 2021, the trio, Juki's, FIFA, and Wars were the winners of World Series of Warzone. Now here representing 3 different teams, and of course they run into each other.
All right, well there's a team that a lot of people back in North America have been cheering on for a long time, and I know our on-site watch party with the Pulse Check's been cheering on as well. We saw Biffle, we saw Sage. They're not too far away, but He's, who's been having a great game thus far, gets wiped. Adrian pushes the fight. Aiden and Rated, they've restabilized Tiff. They've kind of found their feet underneath them. Seemingly all is well, and this is the making of a fantastic game for them and the making of a great team. We talk about this all the time, Tiff. It's not about how hard you can get hit. It's about how easy and how fast you can get back on your feet after flying back in from the gulag.
And that regain, once you get into a blender, when you start having numbers advantage, it's very complicated. But Team Flex here on your screen still has all 3 members and the ability to clean out Team 44 and 37 and 9. Additionally, they just need to keep an eye out on Team Savvy on that northeastern side that has the potential to gatekeep them, but they have to go forward. And the issue is, when everything is open and you have no smokes, life is a little tough.
Yeah, precision airstrikes and everything in between. There's a lot of fighting going down there, but a couple teams, making several teams in this area here in Oil. Adrian on 2 is just going to try to catch somebody out in the open. Of course, you got a night vision scope like this, you can pick some people off in the rotations, which is what they want to do. The problem is, somebody tries a third party, pushes in from below as somebody else is flying in above. You're going to catch yourself in a complete disarray. Blade, though, going to try to continue to clear his path forward. We'll see where this next zone pulls. And, well, nowhere nearby, Mr. Savvy Ultras. You're going to have to get on your horse and start moving. I still think they're in a tough spot, but look, the Italian Wonders, they've done it before. They can do it again.
Team Flex now fully eliminated as well. Squad 1 gonna get wiped. That's gonna be Juki, so we gotta keep an eye, and maybe someone had an ability to come back. But we have 103 players left in the lobby, and now we're just kind of patrolling the outer. But the issue with this open area right ahead of Rohan is you have to go down in elevation. Where Blade is currently positioned will be at that ultimate high ground, and you can kind of keep an eye out. Now they are running that Schlager Night View scope on the Signal 50, which will allow them just a little bit of extra boost on the site. But the issue with that is you run the risk. A lot of people, Super Evan included, are running a different scope that gets them that faster ADS speed.
That's right. That's a great shout, Tiff. And I need to remind everybody here in the stadium and everybody at home, of course, we've got that classic World Series of Warzone format. Our multiplier doesn't even start kicking in until you're in the top 35 teams. We're not there yet in the 4th circle. We still got a lot of Warzone to be played, but those team numbers are going to drop dramatically here in the next 4 to 5 minutes. So be ready. It's going to be ticking down like seconds on a clock. Super Evan Colors, Swag, they're going to have to push forward. A team that just barely made it here after a monster effort near the end of the World Series Warzone series. They got a chance against our wildcard team, Tactical Brit. Able to answer back, a couple nades, takes down 1, but should be no problem to get the revive here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 teams in this area. Not every single team has a full team of 3 though, so somebody's gonna be in for a rude awakening, and I think that's Reader.
You have to be able to maintain this building and clear out this side of your zone to prioritize the rotation. They have a couple Signal 50s. You see Swag is using the night view, so that'll help. But the moment you peek, they're already anticipating it. That's the issue with the Signal 50. It is so incredibly quick and takes minimal damage to do that. And that's actually going to be Tactical Brit on the other side, and he really showed off winning that wild card map on an epic layer cake during the LCQs, but they are about to take down a powerhouse. Super Evan able to close the distance, grab one, gets the trade, but immediately gets dumpstered on.
That was almost a full wipe. If you notice, I think he got the flare off in time, so there's one floating up above, and that's what we talk about, survivability. It is so difficult to full wipe teams here, not only with the flares, but also some of these players, they showcase some movement on Al Mazrah, able to jump onto a buy, sacrifice themselves to get their teammates back, and of course, portable buy is another way to do that, but watch out. I don't know if it was Swag that was able to get back. I think it was. One player left alive for that team, and we are into the multipliers. I said it was going to go quick. We were at 39. Now we're at 30, and now the gulag is closed, so not a single safety net allowed for any team aside from those flares. We'll see what they're able to do. Aiden, Rated, Adrian, they like their spot now, not too sure. Gonna have to fight through a ton of teams on the way to center zone.
My issue with, I love their position. They don't have any self-reses, they're really low on shields, but they did give Rated all of the cash, call in the mobile buy station, so they're probably looking to maybe grab a self-res, grab a UAV, and really prioritize their positioning for the end game, because navigating throughout all the buildings, you know just as well as I do that someone is going to be just camped up in a building, looking for positioning and being able to prioritize that to grab the eliminations at the end. But you are right, we are finally into the multiplier, and it'll start crawling up.
Sage on 6 with 8 downs. This team has been the top of our leaderboard since the very beginning, in a little bit of trouble, but they've got player advantage. They are not worried at all. There are 3 Slayers on this team, but 2 specifically playing the Slayer role. Shifty has elected to take up the dirty work role, as we call it. I was talking to Repulse before this, who was kind of coaching them prior to the watch party, and Shifty, an incredible player, here with something to prove. Got a chip on his shoulder, and this team is going big already in the first map.
You could say that about almost every player on that stage, Goj. Everyone has something to prove because it is to be taken. It has to be earned, and Aiden, Rated, and the young gun Adrian are working on that positioning, but you have to get through. Mind you, Skullface, Hisoka, and Mayapo have already positioned themselves near the track, so they're a little bit closer. You can see Braxton and Empathy just on the right side. They have a little bit of cover, but this is going to be monumental as eBay, Z-Smith, they get completely wiped. Rated able to clean it up, and now with the smokes, with the shields, can prioritize that next position.
All right. Let it breathe a little bit here, Tiff, because this is the calm before the storm. Methods trying to do something, landing on top of the building, unfortunately, will fall. Now we're into 26 teams remaining, and every team just trying to set themselves up for the chaos that is the final couple circles. Especially with a lot of floaters up in the sky. You want to keep those flares. Squad 37 goes down, that's 8. They said, hey, we didn't get enough love on the broadcast, Coach. You got to shout us out. Well, I'll shout you out now. 22nd place or so. Hopefully it was a good game.
GG go next. We hit the 20th place mark, that 1.4x multiplier. And as that circle starts to close, you have to start thinking of the teams that have already put themselves in a solid position. It's going to be Team Panda that is going to be holding that next Northern mode, and Sage racks up another one, wanting to get closer to that double digit. The moment that Sage, Shifty, and Bizzle start feeling themselves. Now, mind you, Shifty was playing with Hisoka and Skullface, now has joined this roster, and they are just going off on all of these teams, fighting tooth and nail for it. But a PA or Rogue PA will be the nail in Sage's pocket.
Here's the thing, this map is a massive one, of course. Shifty,
Mirá toda la gente que queda todavía en casi la última zona.
This is scary for the other teams. You've allowed the top slayers on the map to make it inside the top 16, potentially top 15. Our other wildcard team potentially in trouble. Desmond falling. I still see Rocket and Zakar alive. Shifty out in the gas, gonna work his way in, hanging on by a tooth and a nail, and maybe a little bit more than that. Watch out for Biffle at the top of the leaderboard. I can only imagine you're gonna see them there regardless if they go out soon.
We did see Dez go down, but Crowder was still alive. The wild card team coming in from the NA last chance qualifier. That was such a doozy to watch. If you haven't seen it, you're gonna have to go back and watch that water ending. But positioning yourself here is gonna be nice, but if you can take a couple picks to maybe force them to heal off, prioritize going forward. But Morpheus, they're gonna be able to catch off guard. There's one thing I've learned about the Morpheus squad is their ability to consistently make it to endgame.
That's right. They're always in endgame. I cursed them in the stage 2, but they made it through LCQs regardless. Savvy Ultras proving me wrong yet again. A lot of people doubted this team somehow after winning World Series Warzone last year. Stage 1 was a fine performance. Stage 2, they dominated it, and now somehow into in-game after a massive rotation. Savvy Ultras on 6, this should be a really good game.
Duke X's team is going to fall, and so will Biffle's, and they're going to have to continue. Wars and Breadman, though, still representing. We can see Jowo and Co just on the right side, but look who has the high ground. Hisoka, Mayapo, and Skullface. They are poised and positioned. Plenty of Signal 50 ammo and just ready to take this, because if you can hold that, you just look at it, Crowder and Nico, there's nothing they can do. Incredible. They basically just shot their ankle off.
An amazing high ground position. This is exactly where you want to be. Look at the next zone pull, too. I know it's small on your screens at home, but look at the zone pull they have. They have high ground and they've got the next zone position. Skullface on 7. This is the battle of the champions. No, Jowo comes up from down below. Skullface is able to answer back. That's now 8. Unreal, Tiff. The battle of the champions. Savvy Ultras alive, winning EU last year. Hisoka winning NA last year. First map already, we're seeing the battle of the Titans.
Look, Soka was absolutely locked in those shots earlier. He's showing off the chain, but they have maintained the best position. And now Redman and Limax are short on Jowo, but that was such a game-winning fight, right? If you can take the roof from them, you can potentially take the game. But now you see Jowo.
Mirá cómo juegan, así tienen que jugar, chicos. O sea, le hablo a mi clan, mi clan, ¿dónde está mi clan? Le hablo a mi clan, así tienen que jugar.
NA versus EU champions, some regional expansion teams still alive as well. This is the boy Jowo, Brady Breadman's Heron. I think we're back-to-back in the scrims leading up to today, so they'd like to go 3 in a row. We'll see. Climax switches the fight now. Cliff shown on screen going down. Mexico on your screen, looking to make it big in the first map. Panda on 3, gets the flare off. We're going to have a floater. Mexico's going to be floating up. Down to the final 3 teams. Panda trying to push the equation, goes down. Breadman, mouse and keyboard player going big, cleaning up all of Mexico almost.
Climax said, I'm just here to shoot my gun, and he does. He said, I'm carrying at least 5 flares on me. We're going to have a flare off, but unfortunately, Limax will fall as Soka has delved down onto the other knee.
Oh,
they have cleaned it up, and they will be your map 1 winners.
I cannot believe your North America champions somehow not only win map 1 and are excited about it, but had a ton of kills to boot. They came here to ball out. Tiff, I asked every competitor here who their scariest team to fight was, and, well, Team Hisoka was at the top of the list.
Ahí tenemos que estar nosotros. Ahí tiene que estar claro.
Skullface was one of the first people to ever unlock that new camo by streaming for a solid week straight. They are here in final form, and making that roster swap to pick up Mayapo once again has proved that they here are not
playing. Of course, when you win that map, you get the 2 times multiplier, so a massive game, let alone alone.
Ahí
We'll let the
tienen,
admins
chicos,
do the
ahí
math
tienen.
behind the
Son
screen, but
todos
you'll
gente
likely see them
grande.
near the top of the
Call of
leaderboard.
Duty
I
lleva
got a
mucha
couple questions in my mind, though. When you look at that leaderboard, where's Biffle going to be? They had 26 some odd points going into the final 15 teams. They were frying. Where's Savvy Ultra going to be? The Italian squad, the other champion from EU. They had a fantastic map. I saw Rocket go down inside the top 6 or so. There's a lot of teams that are what if, where are we, what are we going to do? But the big question looming in my mind, Tiff, where's TBE going to, where are they going to drop? What are they going to do? What are they going to change? Because they're in trouble. First team out, wooden spoon in hand.
Tengo fe que hay que llegar algún día, chicos. Tenemos que meter.
5 more matches because I can only imagine if you land somewhere so publicly throughout any kind of tournament warming up for this, and most of our players,
básicamente tenemos que, o sea, tenemos que meter horas. O sea, nunca coincidimos bien igual, ¿viste? Pero no, ahí te estás dando cuenta que hay gente, pero gente grande. Eso no sé si tienen 25 años, tienen esto. 20 tampoco. Ahí está el equipo. Soca. El equipo Soca ganó la partida de trío.
London, Tiff. What an incredible first map of Warzone, and I gotta say, if that's how the rest of the games are gonna go, couldn't be more excited. Let's toss it over and check out that HyperX victory moment.
Yo calculo que con un monitor de 240 hercios ganas seguro. Los movimientos que tiene.
Go. That was actually really impressive there out of Skullface, just playing it patient, had the durable gas mask, and as we run back those celebrations, that just goes to show you how important it is to find those gas masks early on and be able to anchor it out. The fact that they were able to filter out Limax and Breadman there, but hey, you know, I talked to them yesterday and they were really excited. They are the 2-time DMZ undefeated winners, and they said they came here to win.
Second place is pretty impressive, I gotta say. The big question in my mind, right, it's kills, kills, kills. How many eliminations do you have? That multiplier is going to be clutch. Of course, 2 times for first place is massive for Team Hisoka. There's going to be a lot of math, but there's going to be a lot of points on the board for that team, Tiff.
I know we're queuing up an interview so we can talk to Soka, Skullface, and Mayapo, and I'm curious if Frankie has got them down on the stage, because I really want to hear, and then I want to see what's going on. So take it away, Frankie.
To be honest, Tiff, I nearly had to go over to the booth and drag them over here because they were so caught up in their victory on land that they forgot they had to talk to me. But it's all right, boys, I'll forgive you if you give me some good answers. Soka, you guys took the W in the North American World Series of Warzone Finals last year, but now you're here to prove yourselves on LAN. What's it like playing in London?
I mean, it's wild, man. The crowd is amazing. The vibes are amazing. Wagwan, London, Wagwan. What are you saying? What are you saying?
London, he's been preparing for this event by watching Top Boy. I'm going to come over to you, Logan. At Skullface on the roof, you were playing hot, you had the Signal 50 in hand. What was your thoughts in that end game as the circle was closing in and you knew you had the advantage?
Just play our lives, and hopefully I use that gas mask to get behind the enemy.
What? Were you aware that you were going up against your NA adversaries, Team Jowo?
That they were the last right there? I didn't matter who was alive right there. I just knew we were going to win. And if we stayed in our positions and played well, which we did, we won the game.
Skullface, he's not giving me much trash talk. He's being very classy right now, Soka. Were you very satisfied when you heard it was Team Jowo that you took out?
Say that again. Oh, Jowo? I mean, don't matter who I take out. They all suck. So.
Is this going to be your only victory on LAN? Do you feel like more's coming?
No, that's a marathon, not a race, and we're here for the long run.
Yeah, no sprint to the finish, although that was an aggressive game from you boys. I do want to come over to Mayapo as well before I send you back to your booth. We were talking yesterday about the fact that you were caught up in the Canadian wildfires early this year. You had to leave your home during the qualifying period. With that in mind, what's it like now being here on LAN and just being able to blow the competition away?
Like, it's good to be back playing, you know, like the tourney.
You are quiet but incredibly deadly. What's your focus like when you are face to face with the enemy?
What's it like?
Yeah, what goes through your mind? Because you're a silent assassin.
Oh, I just love playing like 1v1s. Like, I just love shooting like back, you know?
Have you got a message for anyone who wants to 1v1 you today?
I'm down to 1v1, like, you know, because I always play against Soka.
And who wins in the 1v1s between you and Soka?
Soka.
Soka, that's not true. He's being incredibly humble right now, but you know what? Soka's his team captain. He's got to show him some respect. We're going to head back to the desk as these boys head back to the booth to see if they can keep up this momentum.
All right, what a game number one, and to be expected, right? I mean, it was exciting with some early exits and some big victories. Hisoka saying everybody, I mean, come on with that energy Juki's had. Hisoka's been the same way. He brings that energy of I'm the best, nobody can beat me, and he brought that and wins game number one. Incredible performance. We look at the highlights, but I want to start off at the very beginning, Dandro, and let's talk about TBE and what happened.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it sounds like TBE, they have their drop spot, they have their game plan, but guess what? You're playing against a lot of players who maybe you haven't played before, and we kind of heard some people maybe shifted their sort of game plan, start landing there, maybe think that they were going to be uncontested landing there, and it just kind of, you heard Tommy say, kind of ended up in a third-party situation, and I don't care how good you are as a player, those are tough to come out, especially if those two other teams decide that they want to focus you.
Hey, Dandro said changing game plans. Let's talk about Ace and Enigma.
Ganaron los de abajo, ganaron los de abajo. Es imposible, con uno batido ganaron los de abajo. Eso también. El bate. Él vuelve a entrar. Sale, le pega de atrás. Saca el fusil salto, lo mata. Bueno, básicamente acá no hay, o sea, no es como hacemos nosotros, que perdemos y nos enojamos. Ahí en el campeonato tienes que estar totalmente concentrado, no te tenés que tiltear, no te tenés que enojar porque más de uno ha jugado y le ha pegado a la mesa, o le volea el joystick, o no sé, le pega al teclado, le pega al mouse. En Call of Duty podés tener muchas reacciones, hay muchas reacciones, pero acá están los muchachos de Soka a full y ganaron la partida, ganaron la partida, se lo merecen, se lo merecen.
Long as possible with Soka, game number one, but let's not forget Panda, you were hyping him up earlier, making that move top 3.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I cast over him
le pega un francazo al de abajo del tanque, lo ve justo.
He flies over from Mexico, pays so much for his plane ticket just to come and prove himself on land that when he does eventually win the tournament, he just about breaks even on that plane ticket. If that's not trying to prove a point, then I don't know what quite is. And then he comes in here third in map 1 and definitely a squad to keep an eye on for the rest of the day.
Skullface rocking that signal 50.
Jugaron muy bien.
Today, huh, Dandro?
Yeah, it's a little popular. I think we might see it just a little bit. I think we might find some actual hard numbers on that. But the thing I want to see, we see it highlighted here in this HyperX victory moment, is that you saw the big height on that building, and we saw the flares popping up. Well, guess what? You don't have spawn protection when you can run back in from a flare. It was basically shooting ducks all day for them for some very easy points.
Líder de equipo.
That's right, and I also want to go right back to you. Early zone looks like it's pulling Rohan. That early setup from some teams seemed to be beneficial. How do you think it paid off?
I think for a lot of teams it definitely worked out. I mean, especially them, right? We saw how important getting that high ground was. Joe and them were trying to grab it, but then they get kicked off, and obviously it doesn't work out for them.
21 eliminations, 14 Hisoka, plus the 2x multiplier. I'm no mathematician, everybody should know that by now, but I definitely
en un campeonato 10 kills es una locura.
Place, but don't take my word for it. We'll be tallying the scores. Incredible job from Team Hisoka and Co. We'll see if they can continue to do it, but now they got a target on their back, and everybody is going to be gunning for them. Well, that's map number 1 done.
We have some more to go. 5 more games. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, map 2 will be coming your way.
Social media for all your Call of Duty esports needs. Get all the latest info in real time. Just follow at COD_esports Twitter and Instagram now. Be sure to link your Twitch or YouTube account with your Activision profile now.
Para hacer la precompra del
amazing viewership rewards during the global final, including the
sale el
chance to
6 de
win a
octubre.
Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 beta code.
Perdón, el 8 de octubre.
All right, so the 3 of you here for World Series of Warzone. Let's
En
go
2
ahead and start with
minutos,
some
en 2
introductions.
minutos
starting with
literalmente
you,
arranca.
Hi, I'm Jowo, Warzone player, streamer, content creator, supermodel dating guy.
El segundo.
My name's Redman. I don't have the same accolades. I'm a better Warzone player, better supermodel dater. I do everything better.
I am Lamax. I'm from Australia, down under. I'm better than both of them.
Oh, also, while we're here, we do have a little surprise. I know we just got hot into this. Breadman has the most luxurious hair. And before we start talking about bucket hats and stuff, I want to see some action. So we're going to have Jowo and Limax braid your hair.
Wait, what?
Limax, Jowo, have you ever braided anyone's hair before?
Primero,
I have not.
tercero.
A couple ladies, you know, I just forgot right now, though. I just forgot.
You forgot how to do it.
Yeah, like I've done it so much, it's like second nature. I just forgot it. It's like, bro, do you brush your hair?
Bro, I just got it brushed. Just
dude, no, this is, dude, somebody just got it to the salon.
Ahí tienen el
Brad, you are known for your bucket hats. We see them
puesto
in the back
número
of your
5,
stream.
puesto
We
del
know that
puesto
you go
20,
through a
los
process
mejores
of
20
picking them
jugadores.
out prior to each and
Arranca de
every competition.
$5.000.
Which one is your favorite? Will you be wearing it tomorrow?
Okay, so
El
my
team,
favorite bucket
el team
hat
face,
is the
ahí
purple
están todos los
underwear,
teams.
honestly, only because it fits on my headset. Really.
Esos son los
I
puntos
always wear
rápidos.
the
El squad.
expensive buckies for tournaments for sure.
11.2, 11.2,
All is
10.8.
right in the world. We have a bucket hat on the head of Bread. Now you have to go ahead and rate their braiding skills.
I don't even think you can put on a scale. It was so bad.
Yeah, good. You meant good.
Yeah.
It was
El mejor clan, el mejor clan se lleva
Well, thank you guys so much for being here. Completely good luck with it. Hopefully, you guys do win. But you guys have any last shouts before we leave here?
For all the people that are supporting us, thank you guys so much. It means the world. Obviously, there's like a ton of tweets and stuff. Obviously, it means a lot to us. So thank you so much for cheering us on, and we will bring it home for you guys for sure.
I don't think there's anything that I could say that beats what Joe just said, so I'd say the same thing. A nice little thank you to everyone again that's supporting us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you to everyone. That's it. And shout out the Signal 50.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the World Series of Warzone Global Finals presented by Prime Gaming. I'm Taylor Reflections Noble, joined by the wonderful Dream Crazy, Enigma, and Dandro, and we are getting these games ready. Map number 2 is literally right around the corner, and I hope you like map 1 because we got a lot more where that came from. Hisoka already talking trash to each and every one of you, by the way, representing NA. So get loud and, I don't know, maybe try to intimidate him, but he's ironclad. Game 1, it's done. It was impressive, but Dream, we need to find out who's in first because I'm thinking it's Hisoka. So Dream, let's take a look at our standings.
Yes, indeed. Well, in the standings, I mean, in terms of the eliminations, at least, we did 26. See, yeah, we did see 26, 21 from them, but here, yeah, the standings. Biffle, Sage, and Shifty, I was going to say, they had 20 eliminations, 28 score, but the fact that this squad specifically, they needed to find that recipe for success, even though stage 2 they did take 11th, but they found it, right? In the last couple of weeks, been winning tournaments and probably the most feared roster on the lobby.
Dandro, Team Rocket in 9th place, gotta feel good coming from the LCQ. who else do we got 11 through 20? I mean, I'm looking at a couple of our teams that are here. I'm a little bit surprised to see Aiden a little bit down there in 16th, but hey, number 12, right? That's Team Serious, our Asian region hailing from Japan. They're here and they're making a name for themselves. I love seeing that they're so far up the leaderboard.
Up the leaderboard indeed. Tactical Bread also making it a 19th. Not bad at all. TBE nowhere to be found. That's not surprising, Enigma.
No, it's not. No, after they drop out in the opening stages and pick up our wooden spoon. But the thing is, overall there, the concern for me as a European is that we have not got off to a good start yet. So I'm hoping to see a couple more European teams pick it up, put on a show today. And one of the things is about our region, we have a lot of consistency typically throughout our squads. So that is what I'm hoping to see today to pop them up the leaderboard.
I like they got Rockets on their shirt. I don't know if that's for Team Rocket or not, but they're representing either way. I'm going to take it as Team Rocket. Good stuff, Dream. Saw Diaz Biffle, who just came off a tournament where he wins 4 out of the 5 weeks, including the final game. He's absolutely on fire. For the longest time, he held first place until the end.
Yeah, I mean, you think about Biffle, right? And he's like been the most feared player, I feel like, over the last couple of years, especially when he was dominating and destroying CDL pros, right? But consistency is key, and this is one of the rosters, at least in terms of their kills, they're always consistent. They just need to keep the placements up. And I mean, having second, again, throughout this tournament, we still have many maps to go.
Yeah, and let's take a look at some of these weapon eliminations, right? 40% of the total eliminations coming from that lock mid sub, which just kind of goes to show you that when these players have to get up in the face of their opponents, this is the gun that they are going to. And well, 20% of the total elims coming from that Signal 50. So reminder, you know, when players are kind of, they get bought back, they have to come back in, they're kind of using ground loot a lot. But even that ground loot Signal 50, you can do a lot of work with it. So it's no surprise here when players are hitting that loadout. These are the two weapons that they are kind of leaning towards and leaning on to get the job done.
That's right. Hey, Signal 50 is going to be impactful today for your long range, setting up early for your zones. Rohan was going to be one of those zones. It did pull a little bit away. Regardless, though, Lockman, up close and personal, it's going to melt you. It's kind of the tried and true staple when it comes to at least this meta of the World Series of Warzone. Hey, we're going into map number 2, though. It's about to get exciting once again, so let's get loud. Map number 2, ladies and gentlemen. Goes Tiff, take it away.
Thank you so much, Reflections. It's kind of crazy. 40% of those eliminations straight from the Lockman. I was actually really surprised to see that many from the Signal 50, but I knew a lot of teams were looking for that opening moment, and it's crazy because all I hear in my headset is not you, Goj, it's not the program, it's the Copper Box Arena, because our fans, granted, this is just map number 2, they're already getting crazy.
Yeah, you know, it's funny, I think Enigma said it, map number 2 is here, but EU, they gotta step it up a little bit. Now, Savvy Ultra's team has done well thus far, currently situated in 5th place, right ahead of Team Jowo, who got 2nd. So we talk about this often. Of course, Biffle in 2nd overall because of their eliminations. You've got to find kills. Sure, multiplier, fantastic, but guess what, Tiff? 2 times 1 is still 2.
That's true. I'm glad you can do simple math there, Goj. Good job. Well, anyways, as we get through our beautiful overlooks of Hydro map number 2, we had a relatively nice ending in that Rohan oil on map number 1 to kick things off, and I know Goj is such a fan of anything that ends near water. He wants to see some F-Tac Siege action, but the question is, where will map number 2 go? Will we be relatively open? Will TBE be able to find their footing? Because as we get into map number 2, we have to start thinking about that mid game, that mid 3rd through 5th map where things get really close, because if Hisoka and them are already starting to like kind of draw out on that kill point differential on the leaderboard, you gotta start now.
Well, London, get loud. Map number 2 is here. Let's see where these team drops and which team will be able to rotate out and maybe, after a bit of trouble in the early fights, in the early game, find some footing and make a name for themselves. A lot of teams trying to do just that. There's a couple teams we want to shout out. You see DBZ on the left-hand side. But take a look at that circle, Tiff. Pretty much dead center.
Hey, everything is free, and you can see Juki is there finding that first action on to Team Shucks. We did have the plane line go from the southeastern to the northwestern, so teams that land airport, teams that land village, and then Juki's notorious for landing over on that H5 positioning will have priority to get there crazy. But DBZ at airport going up against Team 32.
Gromalok, Aizen, and Heats.
Yeah, it was funny. Again, I was talking to Aizen literally right before we walked to the caster booth, and he said, hey, good to see you, Coach. Guess what? We're contesting DBZ. Get ready. We're rocking 3 signals, and it's about to get crazy. So, hey, I respect the confidence. Confidence is key when you're playing Warzone. TTK pretty fast. That means you have to go into every single fight immediately with confidence, or you're going to fall very quickly. We're going to swing over to another early fight on the other side of the map here, Tiff. Champion yet again in a fight. And guess what? Back to DBZ, because again, they are in trouble. Aizen, one of our 10 mouse and keyboard players, leading the charge here. He's in trouble. They do answer back. It's a 2v2.
Their ability to swarm in and outnumber, even with Clutch Belt already sent to the Gulag. Z-Laner and Destroy working in tandem here just to get a little bit closer to Aizen. And honestly, if they could just save at least one player with a Gulag on that squad, it would be nice. But you can see Destroy gonna connect with the lethal. He jumps down. He gets shield crack. They're gonna knock it. Aizen, that will be all 3 of them in the Gulag. Destroy, Z-Laner last alive for the team, and while they wait for their member to come back from the Gulag, have won the initial contest. But something I want to ask you, Ghosh, one member of Juki's squad elected to land over by airport, completely differentiated away from the other duo. Now you can see they're actually reuniting over there in H5. Why do you think that was?
I think they're probably trying to get not only some information, but potentially pick up a third-party shot, especially from distance, especially if you grab the Signal 50 off the ground or what have you. You can get your loadout quick enough, you can get involved. But speaking of getting involved, Jesus, Huskers pushing the fight. It's Dongi on the other side. Dongi was worried about TBE dropping on them. No, it's Huskers, it's Mutex, and it's Jesus, and it's not close. Mutex is down, Huskers in trouble. Nofo fallen. The final fight, Jesus has no problem grabbing the full team wipe, send them all to the Gulag. We'll see you later. We talked to Jay, he said, we're just happy to be here. If I win any money today, it's all going to my dad. The reason I started playing Call of Duty at 9 years old was because of him. And guess who is here? TBE, trying to play cleanup, play a little bit of trash collector, but Jesus not gonna go down without a fight.
In a fight they did, but it doesn't matter. TBE already off to a better start and a perfectly timed third party. Mutex just getting back on his feet, but Huskers able to snake away, but Noobs, he said, no, I am not gonna let this go. You can see he has no plates on, so it's all flesh damage. Noobs just trying to play it a little safe, but unfortunately Huskers runs right into him, and to the Gulag they go.
Such a fun conversation point to see TBE starting out hot yet again, this time getting the better of their opponents. We'll see where they can go from here. After clearing their POI, they should be free and clear for a while to rotate through the mid game and then make it into the end game. Now let's check in with a hometown favorite, Wars, after an incredible performance from stage 1 with their top fragger from King AJ, an incredible trio, and they had a decent stage 2 performance. And I said this before, but I want to re-emphasize it. Wars said, I'm the old head, I'm one of the old guard, don't forget about me. I was at the top since the very, very beginning. I started competing. I was playing this game before anybody else was, and certainly the case. We'll see if they're continuing able to creep up the leaderboard. Let's check in with our team in 6th place, just on the outside of Tapa.
Tapa got to hold out Limax, but you can see the number advantage as they try to stack the staircase. Tapa gonna jump out onto this area. Tapa just waiting for the push. Sometimes you can kind of listen it out. You hear the feet climbing up the stairs, but look at them overlooking the balcony, but just trying to nestle in. Jowo looking to make the push, but when unfortunately when you get the high ground, you can bait it out. You can bait out the windows, but not anything going to connect. Lethal's going out of safety. Jump down. Limax, he caught him from behind, but no shots are connecting. And this is a mouse shot. And Redman's in trouble, but Tapa will go down in that trade, and now Jowo is in the Gulag. But here's the deal, guys. If you want to check out maybe the map view, you want to see positioning of where all your favorite creators are at home, because we have 150 players with 150 different POVs, but Call of Duty Echo channel on Twitch has the map feed, so be able to go check that out.
It's a great shout, because you're going to be able to see off to the right-hand side, even if they're not on main stage. Now they are. Juki's fighting Kong. Juki's on main stage. Team Infernal, a team that I talked to before the broadcast, and they said their crowning achievement in Warzone history was qualifying for this LAN, and a lot of teams said the same. They're so happy to be here, so happy to be competing, and I think some of these teams are going to surprise not only the other competitors, but probably also us.
Toda la gente
Look, I'm
que
just
queda
happy to
todavía.
be here, Goj. Honestly, we've been here since the very beginning. Think back to Verdansk when all of our players started competing. Hisoka back then, and the rising stars of Warzone here, taking that map 1 win. And all I could think about when that was happening was, where is Hisoka's dad? You know, dude's probably
probably in the stadium going absolutely crazy, and Wars, King, AG, and Co. is kind of positioned up against Lovey, but this is a little bit of a standoff. Wars does have the building available to them, and with Lovey and Co. on that head peak, sometimes it's best to just disengage, prioritize getting to the next circle. With that being said, it's closing in 2 seconds, and only one squad has left.
Yeah, I like this play from Wars. Of course, they lost Prodigy, which means they're down in player numbers, so you're fighting a team maybe you think you can win against. If everything was equal, you win 9 times out of 10, but when you're down a player, it's a 2v3, not a very smart fight to take, especially when that team is already set up in the building. So they're going to relocate, reassess the situation, likely either take this fight from a different angle once their teammate comes back, or they're able to buy them back because it looks like Prodigy lost that gulag, or just completely rotate out and let them go.
Look, I'm really loving this while we're looking through where Juki is, but I start thinking about that rotation with the circle coming in at the gas at their back. So as we take a look at that, we think of the areas that we saw the highest congestion area in Satik Cave. That was where people started to get a little mixy, and Team Husker is currently situated in a solid positioning just on the north side of Said. You can do a lot of gatekeeping there, and it seems that they've gotten some of their numbers back up, so that regain is happening, coming back from the gulag and showing out strong. But Juki sitting on 1, they're going to hop in a vehicle and hit their rotation as well. But when you start to think about that eastern side of the map that they're going to be going through, Al Shireen Pass will be their next POI, and that's pure high ground, and Adrian, well, he's got it too.
Uh-oh, Savvy Ultra's team in trouble. Blade will fall, the others able to get out though. See Team 2 just barely sneaking out. Team 21, that's going to be our expansion team trying to creep up and maybe grab this third party. Aiden and Rated gonna have to play Billy Goat here and climb the mountain a little bit. Just narrowly passing each other. There it is. Method, Sick. Apologize. Method, Sick, Cams, and Daga here from the EU region, creeping up the bottom side of the mountain, but enough cover where they're not gonna interact. And Huskers yet again in trouble. TBE is still hunting down this team. Even after a restabilization coming out of the gulag, Tommy is not going to let his prey get away. Huskers in the water trying to do everything he can. Tommy does go down, but not dead yet. Noob should clean this up, no problem. Huskers gets taken out again. 3 teams have been eliminated, and folks at home, we're gonna check in with the first team that was fully eliminated. Let's see what Frankie's got to say on the stage.
Thank you. I'm with Team Rocket, who've come all the way from Poland. I know the Polish fans are cheering them on in the audience right now. And in the Team Rocket booth, I've got Zakar with me. Zakar, you got really unlucky in the gulag. Tell me what happened.
Well, I just missed 1 bullet to use, I think it was. And yeah, I was just unlucky because I should have killed them, to be fair. I don't know why. Yeah, it is.
Well, it's only the 2nd drop out of 6. How are you finding things on land so far?
I'm loving land so far, honestly. Like, the land is actually treating me great, but first game was pretty much, it was unlucky for me because my PC just turned off, so I had to get that fixed. I'm still fixing my settings and stuff, so I hope I will get them sorted by now, like the next game. And yeah, I hope everything they find.
All right, well, Jinkoye, thank you so much for talking to me. Polska Gorum, let's head back to the map.
Thank you so much, Frankie, for checking in with them. They were sitting in 9th place after map number 1. We now going out first, and you heard him. It's unlucky. 1 bullet. That time to kill inside the gulag is unforgiving. So many of our teams, once they go in there, start pre-firing every angle they can get. And with the private lobbies, you never know who you're going to go up against. He said Jay, and now DJ Moss, Z-Smith, they are fighting it down on the edge here at Observatory. Now, Ebates and DJ, they're not actually competing for any kind of organization here. They're actually doing it for DJ Moss's brother Maddie, who could not be here today, and they are laying it on the line, and I'm so excited to see how they perform. But so far, you've got to get out Observatory. You have Team Zeppa just ahead of them, and that's going to make things a little difficult.
Yeah, Observatory, after being demolished in their last couple updates, of course, not necessarily the favorite drop spot for a lot of these teams. A lot of nooks and crannies that people can hide into, but definitely one you want to rotate through because of the high ground. Let's take a look at another couple teams interacting here early. I see Tony White here on main stage, an EU team as well. He touts himself as the oldest competitor here at 32 years old. So shout out to Tony, still competing at 32, doing it with a full-time job and everything in between. between. Man's excited to be here, and I'm sure this team is excited to potentially have a solid map. Now, I'm taking a look at that top right-hand corner of our screen here, and I see Team Intex with Believe really creeping up the leaderboard. They weren't even inside. I think they were 4th place going into this map, so they've crept all the way up into 2nd place. They've got a nice solid map going, especially in the early game, already finding what looks like 7-8 eliminations. They could really bide their time and hold out their own into the end game and just set up going into the final couple circles. We'll see if they're able to do just that. Inxian finding a couple off screen as Aiden and Rated, well, rather Rated and Adrian moving their way in, getting picked up by Signal. 50, see you later. That's Ahsoka waiting, watching, and finding it. Adrian in trouble, Rated in the gulag.
That's going to be really tough. Adrian with no flares does have a precision airstrike available to him, but just trying to get into some cover. You start looking at the money situation. Will Rated come back from the gulag? Doesn't necessarily have enough to buy someone back, and once you start getting into Hydroelectric, there's only like 2 or 3 buy stations right now on the map. We have a mobile as well, but you know those will be watched like a hawk. So Smixy, let's check in with her. Typically lands over in Rohan Oil. You said it best. They're climbing up the leaderboard, and Smixy is gobbling down, looking to get a knock onto Castillo, but attract the numbers advantage. You stack every engagement, and then you reward yourself with that durable gas mask, picking it up.
Yeah, a nice win. They're going to continue to play hand in pocket, just work together all the way through each of these buildings, clear the high ground, set up for the next rotation, and hopefully pick up a couple in the process. I believe this team, I was talking to them before, and they said they were going to run 2 signals this time around, flanked running one and attract running one, and who knows, maybe they're running 3. So every single time I asked the team, they were like, we're running 1 signal. Then I asked them again, they're like, we're running 2 signals, and now I think they're running 3, so who knows. But the team, I think in 6th place going into this, Jowo squad got 2nd overall in the map. Needed a couple more kills to creep up the leaderboard. They're in trouble as well and rotating. Let's take a look at that map. They've actually got a nice, pretty clear rotation around this water. If they're able to cross over, you can see Team 11 is Jowo's squad. And as we see the circle, pretty centrally located still. Everybody's kind of staring at Hydroelectric as potentially the end game.
Yeah, that's going to be a really tough one to get into. You have the cluster of teams that are going to be exiting out of the further southwestern side of Al Mazrah City. You can see Team Jukies have kind of stapled along the side of Marshlands and carried that forward, making their way to Hydroelectric, but they will still have to cross through the open and through Team Stuwo, so that's going to be a tough one.
Yeah, we got DBZ after winning their early encounters, or rather, maybe in trouble in their early encounters. They were able to answer back against Azen after map 1, and now they've got some high ground here on the outside of Hydro. Look, you've got DJ Moss, Z-Smith on the building next to you. You're not too worried about them. You don't think they're going to leave their location, so instead, let's find some easy eliminations if we can, as other teams are rotating in. There's several squads in this area. You've got to hold your position. Elo in trouble, but answers easily against Echo. They're going to be able to push this fight with ease. 3-on-1, 3-on-2. They've lost 1 in the process, at least. Down. I thought it was going to be an easy fight, but Tomsterbomb goes big and then might be able to snake his way out of there.
Look, if anyone's going to go big, it's going to be Tomsterbomb, and you have to play your life. Once you get out of that player advantage, you can see the dolphin diving happening behind the tree, just trying to separate themselves a little further out. But with so many teams, 43 in particular left in this lobby, only 7 have exited. This is not where you want to start your map number 2, and especially as you see some distance there for FIFA Kill. Abwiz there going down on that kill feed, but Sirius Mariko, they're setting themselves up into that upper high ground engagement against Super Evan and Z Colors. Now, let me just tell you, I saw them getting their photos done yesterday, and they were here with pure confidence. They knew that this was a job to be done, and they were like, we had so much fun throughout the stages, we're going to bring it today.
I love it. Well, hey, confidence is key. We'll continue to say it today, but Sirius on your screen is going to have to try to push into this next circle, and you're going to be met by, I believe, that's Nico Infinite on the other side. We can talk about the coach all day today. Crowder, an incredible competitor, coach, and everything in between, has a chance that no one else has to potentially be a Warzone champion on top of winning champs as a player and a coach. An incredible player that came through in the wild card of the LCQ. Ridiculous performance through the water, and you're always going to find them near the end circles. The question in my mind always is, do they have enough eliminations to make it not only into the money, but make it into the top 10 today?
That's true. It's a good shot on the money right now. Top 25 here on the day of our 50 teams will land themselves with a portion of the prizing, and it's going to be all the eliminations that you need. You see Team Biffle creeping up the score, trying to close that distance onto Hisoka, but Team Luki on your screen, Horrid, gonna fall, go to the Gulag, and some Semtex going out to kind of anchor down on that staircase. But the question of the day is all of these flares, it's flare warfare here. I just saw 2 on the ground. Trev's able to pick up another one, so anytime they run into issues, you just gotta do a little dolphin dive 360 out of a window and hit the Hail Mary flare.
That's exactly right. That flare, of course, an easy way to get your teammate back. It will pick a random teammate, but a teammate nonetheless. And at this stage, at this level of Warzone competition, you trust every single one of your teammates, regardless of the situation. Team 36 having to rotate in. That's Teeny and Levi had a chance to sit down with that squad. That's our Australian expansions team. And, well, they really were relying on Zeppa to kind of lead the charge from an IGL standpoint and having LAN experience. Hey, speaking of Crowder, in trouble, and it's Swag answering against Nico, against Dez, and against Crowder. And I believe that's a full team wipe. We'll see you later. Gonna have to come back in map 3.
What's up with Swag always running into the wildcard teams?
Hey,
it was Tactical Brit in map number 1, and now Nico Infinite, Crowder, and Dez in map number 2. Look, if that's how you gotta do it, you gotta do it. But this positioning is quite nice. You can see there's a handful of teams just around them, so they will run into issues from the north and from the west and the east. So playing that position is key. Hopefully you've got smokes for rotation and the signal for picks.
All right, now this zone is going to be ridiculous. You just saw that the Gulag is close, so no more safety nets. Look at all the loadouts falling out of the sky. There are still 35 teams alive. We're just now creeping into the first multiplier, so we're talking about kills being king. This is what we're talking about. This is not chance, but there is a lot of things that you need to do to mitigate RNG to have a chance in the final couple circles. Juki's already finding more. Look, you're going to find kills because there's still 89 people left on the map going into this next zone.
Now, Goj, this was the engagement that I was telling you about just prior. We knew through their rotation out just north of Marshlands, they were going to run into Team Stuo, and you can see Patsuka is able to grab a knock onto Juki's, but so far, 2 members of that team are still up. They're able to take that squad out, but Soka, they've already made it into Hydroelectric. They're prioritizing those early rotates and keeping stocked up on multiple plates. They've got gas masks, and they prioritize taking high ground where all the teams are. You can see DBZ in the distance. You also have Empathy and Finesse still up for their squad. But to get a hand at Soka and to chow them, it's going to take everything that you've got.
I don't mind this spot by them, especially if they get that southern zone pull. They've got a huge advantage here on the edge. Now, they've got to clear their backs. There are a lot of teams to go through yet. This isn't even hardly in-game, although technically it is. There are so many teams alive and so many pieces of cover they could be hiding behind. You've got to assume every single corner you check, there's going to be a team. Every single wall you peek over, there's going to be a team. Tiff, this isn't multiplayer, but I think the snakes are about to be in.
Let me tell you, you guys at home thought your Warzone ranked matches were tough, that you were like going for your SR. Well, think about being in the World Series of Warzone in endgame with 30 squads to go. We are 18 minutes into the game and 30 teams alive. And Skullface, they have set their sights on the next team. They want to clear out the south, so they're going to take that southwestern rotation and try to take up as much space, claim this building, because it is a game of space towards the end and high ground.
All right, Skullface again. This team is in such a good spot, but they're going to have to now rotate in. They didn't get the zone they wanted, but still not a bad spot. Swag pushes forward, getting held by J-Tech. Colors goes big with smokes and nades. You've got to use your resources effectively to zone off the advances. If you want a chance to make the in circle, you better have smokes, and you better find them on the ground after you use them. Binzy, Boog, Stukex, underrated squad from this area, trying to hold down the other squads as well, and this is going to be a tough rotation, and Swag has the chance to have the high ground here, but they've got to win the gunfight. He can't find his opponent. There's too much smokes. He throws the flare up. They at least have a floater somehow still alive. So much smoke and so little time to get to the next zone. In trouble with the floater. Hopefully can farm a bit of those multipliers. The question is, how many kills do they have?
Just on the outside in the gas. You saw the flare go up, so Super Evan will come back in. Boog's able to get the full onto Swag, but it's TBE with the high ground in the tower, and you can see Boog's just checking up into the sky. Hey, what is going on? I have a signal 50, and Panda goes down. This is where it starts to be really tough towards that end game. You don't have resources. You run low on plates, and that signal 50 is a heavy hitter. It just takes one sometimes to knock them down, but Mayapo, Hisoka, Skullface going for that ever-coveted high ground, utilizing smokes, and this could be the engagement that they need. They're going to clear out this building, one of the last ones in the zone, but Skullface, I mean, a little bit of a bathroom camper. Sometimes you got to do it.
I saw a lot of Team 40 there in the kill feed. Shifty alive as well. Some of the top teams from the first map still up, but some new faces here as well. Sway, Planticity alive without their third, but alive nonetheless. Inside, about to be the top 15. You're about to see a new multiplier, and Shifty on 6. Here they are. They've lost Sage, but Shifty and Biffle alive, continuing to slay out. This team is frightened. Well, rather, the other teams are frightened of them. Gonna hide out on the edge of zone with the smoke. Should be able to pick up a few more eliminations. Might have actually been able to get a buy off as well. Squad 12 goes down. That's Zungod. Tiff, we're down to the final 13 teams, and everyone biding their times. Again, just a moment of peace before the chaos that are the last final circle.
Team Jowo went out, Team Almond went out, but Tom Sturbaum from Team Echo, the longtime duo of Echo, still poised alone in that building. If they had any eliminations throughout this game, getting that coveted multiplier. Now, mind you, in 10th place, you're sitting with a 1.6x. You hit 5th, you go to 1.8, which is almost as good as that coveted 2x, but Hisoka, your map 1 winners, they're pushing the issue. They're getting a little bit closer, just taking all of the stun grenades to the face, but as a duo, Hisoka and Skullface, we chop out that Hail Mary flare, and then we go in for more.
Unreal, Hisoka chowing everything. Gets the flare off, and Hisoka goes big! Will fall in the process with a third party, but finds the team like Sway. Answers back, but Hisoka's gonna feel good about that one, especially with flares in the sky, especially with some floaters. Who knows what they'll be able to do, especially if they make it into the top 5, Tiff. This could be another monster game, and all three up. Let's go to Team Biffle. They've got player advantage, they've got high ground, and they are farming the skies.
Look, they were already so close to Soka on the leaderboard, so Biffle taking the prioritization, because Z-Colors, he's not paying attention. He's going to fall to Biffle. You know that Repulse Check is in the building, and Biffle looking to put on a show for them, and as they clear out Sage, just capitalizing, number stack, Biffle will fall, but Sage is going for the trade. Now, they just have to turn their tides towards it, but Shifty hits a flare.
This is about as free as it gets. Stukic trying to go big with the starter pistol. Castillo, our Mexico squad goes down. No, yes, Biffle answers back. Shifty, Biffle, Sage are your map 2 winners.
We knew that was going to be it. The moment Soka took that win, you could see everyone cheering for Biffle, and that is what they needed to do. They saw the 16+ point differential between them just after map number 1. They knew they had to come back swinging, and they do that tenfold. Looking at Biffle with the Signal 50, just poised, playing Duck Hunter out of the air is everything that I was excited for.
Unbelievable job from the trio. They've battled so much adversity as a team. They had so many expectations and had to work through the team chemistry issues that come with creating this new trio of Slayers. But they found it in map 2, potentially the biggest map of the day. The math will check out for us, but a massive victory. Biffle with double digits already in map 2. They were in 2nd place, Tiff, and likely going to be in 1st after that one.
You know, you think about the roster changes that we've kind of hinted throughout the stages of World Series of Warzone. Shifty was actually on that initial roster, but let's take a look at that HyperX victory moment and Biffle just shooting out of the sky. Oh, Z-Colors going down. He's on double digits here, but he doesn't quit there, Ghosh.
I love what they did here because they knew they had player advantage and they were willing to split up to farm this lobby, Tiff. I mean, everybody at home's cheering for them. Of course, there's a lot of fans back in North America, but I saw a ton of fans here as well for them. Shifty gets the buy just in case. Now, we gotta give a shout out to our Mexico squad. Castillo and Z-Dark, they actually won the Mexico region and they went big here for top 3 as well. Biffle flies in after getting bought back. StuKX falls, and there is that victory. Congratulations to that team. I know they're excited. You can see it on their faces. But not only are they excited, Tiff, they're excited to be at the top of the leaderboard. There is $100,000 going to the team that wins 1st today.
Ooh, and not only the money, but the pride. The first ever to do it at the largest Warzone LAN that has ever been seen. We talked about the 150 players behind us. 300 computers are in this building, Ghosh, so it's starting to get a little hot. But if you at home want to watch them, you know, go find your newest creator. Maybe you want to check out Biffle's stream, Shifty's stream, Sage's stream. They're streaming live right now, so you can check out their POV as well.
Yeah, a lot of watch parties going on, and I know you called it out. The Pulse Check is losing their minds. Hector's probably jumping up and down. Maybe already ripped the shirt stuff. I have no idea what's going on over there, but they got a lot of love over there on the on-site watch party. Go hang out with them. And I think we're going to get an interview with that squad, which I'm really excited to hear about. And let's go check in right there with Frankie on the stage.
Thank you very much, Tiff and Goj. And these boys are so hyped about their victory, as well they should be. Shifty, what were you just saying there? You were talking about the squad clicking.
Yeah, I said basically the gears are clicking. We've seen it before when all three of us play great. We have big wins. And I told them going into that second game, we need it. We want this. We want every team to know that we're coming here to be dominant and that everyone should watch out for us. And it was a Hydro end game. So, I mean, we couldn't ask for anything better. And these guys played out of their mind end game.
Talk to me about the tactics in the in-game. You're going in and out of the gas. You're playing a risky game, but you knew you had it in the bag. What were the comms like? What were you saying to the boys?
Oh, honestly, the comms were pretty intense, all right? Shifty was just trying to play his life inside a building, and I looked up, Sage called out there was a bunch of people floating, so I looked up and got like 3 free kills with a sniper. Yeah, it was really insane end game, so like you can't really call what's going on, but you know, we were doing our thing.
You boys are known as a bunch of aggressive slayers. How are you finding the Signal 50?
I think Shifty's the only one sniping on our team, so as long as he keeps getting all those picks, he's had like 10 kills that game, so we're doing pretty good on slaying-wise.
Let's come over then to you, Sage. So tell me about why your team did have trouble when you got together to take on the World Series, and now how you've managed to bring things to the point where you're standing on stage with me having had a victory.
I mean, in stage 2, we barely formed the team. There's not really much practice, no chemistry. We knew right after that we didn't want it to destroy us. We said it's a humble. We didn't want to go into stage 2 knowing, you know, we're the best in the game. We wanted it to be like, we need to know our ground and know how we're going to be. Ever since then, we've only mainly lost 2 to 3 tournaments out of maybe the 10 that we've played. I trust my teammates. I trust D to get my trades. I trust my IGL Shifty, and ever since then, we've been playing perfect.
You've been playing incredibly, second in the first drop of the day. Now you've got a victory to your name. Do you think you're the best team of the 50 here on LAN?
I think that my team is probably up there. I wouldn't say we're the best. We still got a lot to work on, but I know for a fact when everything clicks, like how we played that last map where our comms are still crazy, but we still understand each other and we still trust each other's judgment, and we play it perfectly.
Well, your trust is well-founded. Thank you so much, London. Give it up for Team Biffle.
All right, game 2 is done. What an exciting ending once again with a new, fresh winner. Will we get back-to-back? Well, maybe so, but we haven't got it just yet. Hey, check it out. Danjo, Enigma, straight to you, because I want to talk about a good recovery from TBE. From first out, they run into Huskers, they run into Dongi, but they have a better chance this time.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we spoke a little bit previously, or at least I did, about the landing spot situation and how that's going to evolve throughout this afternoon. And one of the things is that TBE here refused to be bullied out of their spot after they end up falling first in map 1. It's a heck of a bounce back indeed, taking out Team Vombot and hunting Huskers to the river to make sure they're out of the way. And I spoke to Tommy literally seconds before map 1 started, and he said what he wants to do is establish space. In this meta, he wants space, time to get his team together, and he's doing just that by pushing those squads away.
TBE, good recovery without a doubt. Dream, I go to you. Aiden recovers just long enough to run into his Hisoka and just find trouble once again.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I mean, being able to fall, but I mean, right here you saw it hopping down from Observatory, and then like they were rotating in. Guess what? They rotate into a Signal 50 into Huskers. But the good thing about that, even though Rated went down, yes, he still had his gulag. So right. Yes, recovery was the name of the game. I feel like for some of these squads though, the way that everything was rotating though, it was kind of like a little more centralized to where they had to get to those buildings first, right? So recovery the name of the game, but for these teams here, Reflections, I will tell you, this part specifically with Hisoka was absolutely insane. If he found a flare on the ground right here, which you saw, oh, if he was able to pop that off, that would have been a different game.
He secures top 10. Danjo, talk to me about this end game.
I mean, this end game was just insane. You see, obviously, Shifty, Sage, and Biffle. Huge thing that was a little bit minor. Shifty hit a flare to, I believe, get one of the other players back in. And we just see Biffle pick up that sniper and is going absolutely crazy.
Yeah, you hear them speak in the interview there about how much they believe in each other and all of this, but I was speaking to Repulse himself last night late on, and I was talking to him about this squad, and there was a bit of a difficulty for them when they first came together, some inconsistencies, they had real takeover moments, but some underwhelming performances as well for a trio as talented as this, and the problem they were having was that the three superstars, the three Slayers, that's very difficult to merge together, and what they've done as a trio is come together, assess where it is that they can be the best team, and they are delivering today.
Can we talk about Team Diaz Amir representing Mexico, Castillo, and Z-Dark? Like, they have been coasting silently in that 4th place spot.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they have been. And 4th place is big for them because we talked about our expansion regions. They're outnumbered. 21 NA, 20 EU. You only got 9 expansion regions. We've already seen Japan make an impact. And now you're seeing Mexico with 2 teams make a big impact. And that's what I was saying. Like, crowd wasn't getting loud for them, but they're a team that is still making an impact and also could, in fact, win today. Your team are map 2 winners, Biffle, Shifty, and Sage, 24 eliminations. Wow. That's the biggest game we've got yet. Hisoka, I thought, was setting the pace after map 1 with 21. But Diaz, Biffle, Shifty, and Sage say, enough is enough, we got this. And I thought it was funny. During the interview, Frankie asked, Biffle, signal 50, how's it treating you, right? And Biffle goes, I'm not even using it. We see evidence in the final clip of him just beaming players out of the air, okay? So wonderful job coming out from Diaz Biffle. He's an incredible player. We didn't talk about him pre-show, but we didn't forget about him either, right? He's that guy that can make some magic happen, and he is making some magic happen. Well, that's it for map number 2. 4 more games to go. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have our standings as well as map 3 coming your way.
Bien, chicos, bien, se lo merecen,
Get free games and in-game content with Prime Gaming. Visit gaming.amazon.com
El tercer mapa entra en 3
HyperX
minutos.
is the official peripheral partner of Call of Duty. The World Series of Warzone Global Final is here, and so is the Solo YOLO pack. Drop into the game with the essentials, including the Red Mist XMR blueprint, the Solo YOLO Chimera blueprint, animated calling cards, emblems, and more. The pack is available using COD points. Visit the in-game store now.
Hey, we're here with Team FIFA Kill and FIFA. You gotta tell me who your teammates are.
My teammates, I'm sure you guys already know, but I'm with Oki and Wiz, the boys, repping the European squad, obviously, on the stage, front and center.
Except you haven't met them in person until today.
Until last night.
Okay, sure.
Last night, and both of them were, a little bit stumbling around.
El torneo de los 250 mejores jugadores de Warzone.
I mean, it just felt natural. We've been playing together so long.
So you're comfortable. You're 30 minutes outside of your house.
Yep.
But you're not in your shed. Talk to me a little bit about it, okay? Why the shed?
Originally, I'd be sitting playing in the front room. 60-inch TV, and you can't really sit playing a tournament for money when you got your little brother walking through, dried his hair out the shower. Didn't really have the room for a setup, so my dad just took every penny he saved, built a shed in the garden, got me out there, put some internet in it, and just went from there.
You really have become the shed expert. Right?
Oh, 100%.
And so as such, we're going to actually have you rate some sheds between 1 to 10. We're going to start with this nice shed here, FIFA.
Lovely. It looks a bit like mine, actually. I'm not going to lie.
Sure.
I'd give that a solid 9.
Okay, so how about this shed? What do we think about this?
I love that shed, man. I'll give that shed I'll give that one a 7 because it is wall bangable.
What about this shed?
Yeah, that's prime real estate, actually. But I'll give it like a 5.
Okay, great. Okay, this shed, this is a fun one. You've got some tools that you could potentially use in this shed. What are we thinking?
Funny story, actually. My dad loves flowers, and there's a lot of flowers outside the shed. He likes to decorate, and my house only has 1 bathroom. So if someone's in the shower, the flowers become the toilet.
Well, FIFA, this has been an incredible interview thus far. Really wish you the best, you and the boys. I think you've got a great chance of winning it. Thanks for rating those sheds. A lot of fun. So thanks for being here. I appreciate it.
You're not a shed connoisseur like me, so I wouldn't.
I mean, why am I here?
No, come on. I'm
final shout outs to the Shed Gang. Anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Obviously, shout out to my dad. He's my number one, my best friend, manager, dad, obviously. Shout out to the Shed Gang, support me every day, getting me here. I mean, obviously I wouldn't be here without you guys, so thank you very much for that. I'll see you guys out there, hopefully put on a show, and I'll see you tomorrow. Woo!
Ladies and gentlemen, to the World Series of Warzone Global Finals presented by Prime Gaming here in beautiful London, England. It's been incredible, without a doubt. 2 maps down, about to hop into map number 3, which means that will be our halfway point. So if your favorite team isn't doing too well, get loud for them, because they need your energy. I'm Taylor Reflections Noble, your host, joined by Dream Crazy, Enigma, as well as Dandro. Today has been wonderful, right? 2 maps, 2 different winners, but some heavy hitters starting to rise to the top. Now, I want to give a shout out right to one of our great teams who makes Codcaster everything that it is, and that's our B-Nox team, who's constantly giving updates and upgrades. So B-Nox for the Codcaster, that's who you can thank. I'm not gonna lie, Codcaster is like, it's beautiful. It's just a beautiful thing, right? We're able to see everything. But without a doubt, it's time now to see our standings. I gotta know who's in first place. Enigma, who are we looking at?
I mean, it's going to be Team Biffle right at the top here. 76 points after 2 maps. The big thing, though, 44 eliminations. So one of the things at the end of map 1, I was a bit worried that maybe they'd going too aggressive, getting a lot of eliminations, and then not placing too well. They fixed that in map 2, and they're going huge right now. A massive gap over the rest.
Going huge indeed. Well, map number 3 is getting queued up. Let's get it going. Goes. Tip, take it away.
Hey, thank you so much, Reflections. That's right, map number 3, almost halfway through the first 6 maps of the World Series of Warzone, which means we are that much closer to that solo YOLO 100K prize, Gosh.
London, are we having fun yet? I think we can do a little bit better than that, but we'll try again later, Tiff. I'm excited for map number 3. You're right. We're almost halfway done, and you're right. Solo YOLO right around the corner as well. We have $600,000 to give away today, and, well, maybe not give away. Maybe it's earned, but let's take a look at this next drop. Map number 3, and Cam's first out of the plane. We'll see if that bodes well going into this map.
A very similar plane line to what we witnessed in map number 2. So teams in Akhtar Village Airport, they're going to have priority, and even over in the coveted H5 where Juki's typically lands. He's made history there, competing from that POI quite some time, celebrates a lot of quick cash, but let's jump on board with DBZ out towards Airport. Now, mind you, they had initially won this contest in map number 2, so they're looking to pick up more eliminations.
Yeah, and this has been an early contested spot since the very beginning of this tournament. Aizen versus DBZ. A fun fight, a difficult fight, 2 really good teams. And the question is, are they going to interact again? Are they going to try to push each other? Or are they going to grab their loot and move on? It looks like a lot of the same. Both teams think they can win this fight every single time, and so far it's 50-50.
Look, you just got to go on confidence. You said it yourself, Goes. Confidence is key, and we need to have a little bit of consistency here, because with that fight at the top of the leaderboard starting to get incredibly close now, just 15 points separating Team Biffle and Team Hisoka. Everything is going to need to matter, and Mutex, Jay, starting off to an incredibly strong round here. There are 3 squads nearby. Team Savvy Ultras just north of this trio of Chaos. Sirius and Moriko, they need to stand back, but Huskers and Mutex, they were able to get the high ground here at Observatory.
Yeah, and again, this is a spot that Huskers and Mutex has been dropping into since the very beginning, right? They actually contested each other, I believe, in stage 1, and then of course, they came together for the LCQs and made this kind of hodgepodge team, and they've played together before, but not a ton, and Jesus is an incredible third add into this. Mutex and Jesus had a little bit of Kim as well. Jesus actually went and hung out with Mutex, so they've got some chemistry, they've got a chance to prove themselves, but Sirius goes big and finds Jesus from distance to take it to a 3v2. Huskers and Mutex likely going to try to rotate out here. Looks like they actually might be splitting. Mutex might not see that there's a pathway out, and all of a sudden, this could be a very difficult fight for Mutex to take. Sure, he has high ground, but a 3v2, a streak landing on your head, what are you going to do?
Mutex still has high ground, but he is going to be forced off of the roof. But when you have such good ground loot off drop, CPA is able to grab the down and finish onto Mutex, sitting into the gulag just early on. So Huskers Co, you know they had such a long journey to get here, and so far have run headstrong into resistance. But Nico, Crowder, and Dez, your wild card winners out of NA, starting off really strong, just on the low ground, trying to dolphin dive behind cover so Nico can get back into with his team.
Yeah, that CPA team, that's our Asia expansion region team. They play extremely aggressive, so it makes sense they like Observatory.
Okay, Crowder, phase up here.
Take a look at Crowder. Sniper, maybe not the signal, but we'll take it. Whatever you got in hand, find a down that's going to open up a pathway moving into the next building. Potentially could move into this fight. Still a very difficult fight to push up on, and this could be one of those fights, Tiff, I got to sneak the word in at least once in this broadcast. This is a quagmire fight. They're going to be fighting this fight for a long time, and sometimes that's good, but most of the time that's bad. You might sit here and fight the same team for 5-6 minutes, while a team like Hisoka's already wiped 2 full teams and then setting up for their in-game.
You can see Goat and Co. able to call in their loadout, but Dez able to apply the pressure with the ground loot Cronin, and if you are going to get a ground loot weapon, getting the one with at least 50 rounds in the mag is going to be nice. It's going to be allowing them to put as much pressure as possible, but you're right, this fight isn't going anywhere anytime soon, but being able to whittle down your enemies, get all of the plates out from them, but if they had one PA, one missile, everything would change the tide of that engagement. As you can see, Rated and Adrian on the rooftop, time to take down CZR, but it's going to be one, but it's going to be another, and he drops him. Rated, the IGL, able to capitalize on that and immediately fly in.
Yeah, this is a great elimination because his team can do nothing about it. CZR goes down, but answers actually from a third party. Z-Smith comes in from behind and wipes his former teammate. Aiden sent to the gulag. Z-Smith, Ebates, DJ Moss on the hunt, and Rated knows they're coming.
Look, if anyone's going to do it, having it be Z-Smith is pretty nice. When you think about the storylines that he had going throughout the stages of World Series of Warzone, kind of came out of a semi-retirement, and he always knew, I have so much to prove. And knowing how many tournaments Z-Smith has won throughout the history of Warzone, having him say, I am an underdog, is kind of scary, because we talk about everyone that has their own stories and what they have to prove. Z-Smith, you know, this is the stage to do it on.
Well, we've got Reaper, we've got Diego Soros, and Lage on your screen. Lage looking for an elimination here. Lage actually one of our 10 mouse and keyboard players as well, coming through the expansion regions. Lage goes big. You can tell based on his sensitivity what he's able to do, snapping around, having to fight against some of these controller players, but the smoke, he doesn't get first shots down. Luckily still alive though, is gonna use the smoke to his advantage this time to get out of dodge and replay back up.
You see all the smoke, Zaf in the distance, gonna hit the parachute and try to expand out to another building. This is one of the toughest buildings, in my opinion, to push, but Hollow, he's gonna jump out, try to get a different angle onto Lage. Not able to capitalize, here we go, the shields are gonna be cracked, and yes, it's a 2v2, but it's gonna be Zaf that goes down.
Lage last alive, in trouble, running away. Third place from the Brazil qualifiers. Has a chance here to stay alive and should be able to get out of dodge, but it's going to be difficult to not get hunted down. Lage might actually be readdressing. Back to Observatory, Tiff. Look who's here. Hisoka on main stage and trying to hunt down this Asia qualifying team. CPA, Sirius, Mariko looking to answer back, but down on the low ground. This is going to be a tough fight to win, and they actually might just take the tunnels out.
Sometimes it's best to actually prioritize the disengage. Mayapo, though, already has the high ground. They've got loadout weapons. They're utilizing the buy station here at Observatory, because you start to think, while this POI is dead near center of the next zone, where do you go from here? You want to wait and see, because typically they are in that end game with some of the best positions, and similar to what we saw out of Biffle and Sage from map number 2, just being able to get to the end game and have player advantage can be nice, but Invader, Sway, and Hunt's team on the main stage here, already with 2 eliminations, and Clown in the gulag.
Yeah, those are 2 teams that I was talking to before the broadcast, and they're like, nobody knows us, nobody respects us, we're here to prove our name, prove our worth. So excited to see if they're able to do that here on main stage against some of the best Warzone competition in the world. See TBE sneaking out of that fight. Everyone's still biding their time. Now, we have seen the first team fully eliminated. Question is, who is it, Tiff? 49 teams alive, and many of our teams, if not all of our teams that are at the top of the leaderboard, still up. Team Biffle, 48-point victory, and now a little layer cake action. You'll love to see it. DJ Moss, Ebates, Z-Smith, a fun fight against Joe Woe's squad, seemingly with the advantage. Breadman gonna sneak out of there. Limax, not sure he's able to yet.
Limax doing a little bit of crouch walking, trying to figure out the best way to infiltrate Team Ebates, but it's Limax from down under crawling to the mid-level of this building. Now, one thing when I was getting to talk to them, you know, I had a chance to sit down with Bread, Joe, Woe, and Limax, and he's like, I just shoot my gun. I'm here to show out and shoot, and he's still infiltrating this building. Now, I've had this happen to me several times. If he's able to fully flank them, that's kind of scary, bro.
Sneaky, sneaky. Can he catch an angle? I don't think they know he's here.
Dude.
Trigger Discipline's gonna hold on to it. If he can catch an angle here, getting some comms from his teammate, he's gonna sneak up. Is he gonna find it? Couple grenades, no! Goes for the nades instead of the gunshots. Could have maybe grabbed the knock there, but not sneaky enough. Gets the self-revive up, but Ebates should clean that up, no problem. Limax sent to the gulag. Nice try, buddy, but not enough. See if we can get back onto the map. Let's go to the team at the top here as we try to get a little bit of some more information, Tiff. We always talk about how information is key, and there's a ton of ways to gain information.
You can definitely interrogate a player if you're relatively safe, and it'll give you a live ping of the enemy teammates, so you can kind of focus that out, and Biffle gonna join in. You can see Shifty from that engagement was able to grab a gas mask. They all three have self-res as your map 2 winners are in it for the wins, and they're going to do just that as Sage decides on to Morpheus. You know, their journey throughout World Series of Warzone was really tough. Even Goj, you cursed them once when they were on the building trying to get into the World Series of Warzone Global Finals by 1 point, Goj, and that was a full elimination on Jukies that they didn't get. So now here on the stage, in person, on the Global Finals, they are going up against a massive Titan, and Zakar cannot get away.
Yeah, I wonder if this is what happened last match. We had a chance to interview them, right? They went down first, and they get wiped here again. I think they're full out of the lobby. Team Rocket can't catch a break, and it's because of Team Biffle going big, grabbing their early eliminations. They have a system, Tiff, and it's working.
Speaking of systems, Crowder, Nico, and Dez, the way they're able to stack buildings on the outer, looking to pick up eliminations and not necessarily worry about playing that center of zone, which is an aggressive way to play, and I respect it, but already pulling up 1 elimination, 2 gas masks, but Dez, no plates to their name, but a Signal 50 in hands, of course, I would expect nonetheless for Crowder to be the anchor running it, being able to kind of control the method of the madness, and 10x squad rotating in, just parachuting down. They're gonna run into Kong, but they're able to get a knock into a full of cleaning and fighting their way in.
Strunk is in trouble, and it's a nice knock, but Solitude, not sure you're gonna be able to do much here. If you're Crowd, if you're Nico, you need these eliminations. Again, a team that traditionally plays in-game well, but it struggles to find a ton of eliminations. Of course, they won the wild card map, which was the one and done. If you're the last team standing, you make London. They made it in the final moments. They've been practicing for a while now. And let's take a look at our map view. Of course, you can take a look at the map view as well with the Call of Duty Echo Twitch channel. Go check it out if you want to see that view. And it's a fairly central zone. It looks like Observatory is still inside the zone, so you know Hisoka's happy about that one.
Crowder and them, they pick up another Tommy going at it against Intex in the kill feed. So offhand, you have to think about the rotation of where we're moving to. The teams at Observatory will have that eastern side priority, but for the teams coming in from Village, Shireen Pass, they are going to have that high ground disadvantage as you climb up Observatory. And just like the end game in map number 2 is going to be Hydro, with other teams that are all congested, they're rotating out of it. But Team Savvy Ultras on your screen, 47 squads remaining here on the outskirts of Village, one of those teams that will have to rotate through Observatory.
Yeah, they had a nice start in the first map, but couldn't really catch a break in the last one, and seemingly a little bit of a blender earlier. Heard that maybe Savvy Ultras even lost his gulag, but got bought back. There's a ton of ways to get your teammates back, so make sure you can do that, and of course to have player advantage. It's necessary in these moments, especially playing outer zone like Gooey, Clapson, Goat, DJ. Blade actually in trouble from Aiden. Would love to check back over to that fight and see what's happening. Here it is. Observer's on point. Aiden was able to get the better of 1. He split up Blade from Vortex and Savvy Ultras and took care of business. However, Savvy Ultras answers back with a Signal 50 kill on Adrian. It's a 2v2. Aiden and Rated versus the former World Series of Warzone champions from EU. See if they can do it again. Rated on low ground. Aiden mounted up, looking for an elimination.
Oh, savvy, the bait and switch. Here's the deal. Aiden was able to suppress fire for Rated, who jumped down, went for the buyback onto Adrian, but unfortunately will lose their life in the meantime. But Aiden with the flare will be able to bring them back, but the same goes for Blade. He was immediately brought back by his teammates, but chalk it up. Aiden not able to get the down there, but they know, and there's a medic vest on the distance. So we talk about the different med vests that are available, able to grab a gas mask, and some teams even filter through those different types of vests where, hey, if you got to hit the res on a team, you want the medic, you want a quicker res, but they've got comms, they've got stealth, and Aiden on the rooftop still.
Let's take a quick listen in with Team Aiden and hear some of their comms. I know the team at home are going to love this, and the people in the stadium might be booing them.
Maybe like double building. Should we just play Tahiti? Yeah. I got it.
Cool, calm, and collected is what Aiden and Rated are always. The Cheddar brothers, having played together for years now and earned, well, a lot of cheddar. Hundreds of thousands of dollars earned, not between both of them, but singly. Each of them having earned well over $300,000 and trying to add an extra $100,000 on top of that here today. You can see the map. Increased view on your screen. You can see all the teams having to rotate in. Observatory outside of the next zone. We are headed over to Saeed City and outside of caves here, Tiff.
Now, look, this is going to be so tough. You're going to have Aiden. They're actually electing to grab the high ground, which is nice here for them at Observatory because you can kind of parachute off onto the other side, but you're going to run the risk of going through the river. If there's anyone that's going to have a beautiful advantage in that next zone, it's going to be the teams that have made it already into Saeed City that have the ultimate high ground. But you can see Mayapo from a distance playing on the cliffs outside of Observatory, and there goes Kong. A 1-2 down and out. We knew that was going to be the issue with the Signal 50, but for another issue, it's the fact that Huskers taking on Tony White, man, for everything they've been going through early game, their ability to regain is exponential.
Yeah, I've been very impressed with Huskers' team's ability to stabilize. I've seen them hunted down time and time again from TBE, and yet all three are alive and trying to take this fight from potentially multiple angles. We'll see if they can hit a couple jump spots up, or they're just going to all push up together. Sweezy's team, of course, has the advantage here, being that they have the high ground, some pinches. And if you take too long here, Tiff, I'm worried about a third party. There's a ton of teams close by that could potentially do it. Here are those jump spots I was talking about, looking for any angle they can get a chance to shoot through those windows and find their prey. Speaking of prey, Clutch Belk very much so in trouble as the team near the top of the leaderboard. Quick wipe of DBZ. It doesn't look like a full team wipe, but certainly not one you're happy about.
Yeah, but Skull on 0, and we're already on circle number 4. And the issue with that being is they need to be able to maintain the pace that Team Biffle has set. Yes, they won map number 1, but Team Biffle answered back in map number 2, and now well into map number 3. Biffle is just extending and capitalizing on that lead that they've already created, and Shifty, the former member of the Stage 1 roster with Soka and Skull, finding so much success here alongside Sage and Biffle.
Yeah, this is a tough one. Now, I did just see, I think it was Savvy Ultra's team that was full wiped out of this map, so not going to be a great one. We just missed out on the multiplier. We're just now inside the multiplier. Shifty and Sage are missing one, so they're going to play patient here and hopefully just pick up a couple picks as teams try to rotate in. There's Castillo, one of the other teams, fantastically performing today from Mexico in 3rd place going into this map with Deus Amir, a team that a lot of people were watching out for, but there was really a lot more chatter around the 2nd place team from Mexico, which is Panda and Goat Clamp, who are nowhere to be seen, at the very least inside of top 5. So we'll see what they can do in this map as Ahsoka continues to push the equation, continues to push the pace. If you're dictating pace, usually you're on top. The problem is when the team's on top of you, you're going to be in trouble. High ground is everything. Gets caught out in the open. Skullface has to go big from his position. Finessing. Braxton not going to make that easy. Skullface in trouble. We're at risk of being sent out of this map.
Oh, Skull in trouble, no flare in sight, and this is what they were talking about with Team Soka. Their ability to get out of fights with at least one of them. That's why they're like, that's so hard to kill. But for Nesson, Empathy, Braxton, let me just tell you, they just made it look so easy to take them out, and they hit the redeploy drone and continue on the rotation. Team 25 taking to the skies, trying to get across the river. They'll do so, but it's Shifty, it's Sage just answering back, finding. It doesn't matter. They just get a change angle. They just throw down. 2 members will fall. 1 still standing, but Sage has to prioritizing healing. The question is, where is Shifty, and can they stack this?
Tiff, we have 26 teams alive, and Sage is on 10 eliminations. 2 players alive. Biffle's nowhere to be seen, and it doesn't matter. They slay out when they need to. Unbelievable performance from this team. It almost doesn't even matter what their multiplier is. They've stabilized at the top of this leaderboard because their main competition, Team Hisoka, is out of this game without a great map to show for it.
Yeah, but the issue is they have 10 seconds and they are not in circle. They have to move. So look at King AJ. They have to be able to clear out the right side because the squad that's in the top 5 just ahead of them, Deuce Amir, is in the building that they want. And even then, they will still have to keep moving to that eastern side. Squad number 5, that's going to be FIFA Kill, is already positioning themselves well into zone. But Sage and Biffle, your map 2 winners, they're going to have to get there.
That's a big wrap. Gas mask are everything, and it looks like they both have one, at least for the moment. Sage, Shifty, you see Wars trying to push the fight. Shifty and Sage are having to fight back, and Shifty goes down, so it's going to be all up to Sage. Answers to Wars and finds another with the PA. Another team wipe going to Sage. Now the entire onus of responsibility on his back to stay alive and continue to creep up this multiplier. A massive map yet again. Last alive for his team. What can he do, as there's a ton of teams on the other side of these walls?
Burning through the gas mask, does need to stay inside, out of the gas. He was pilfering through the loot to try and do his best to find a flare, to no avail. But now you have to play your life and just crawling in through the smoke, through the chaos. But it's going to be Deuce Amir, a top 5 squad, and how over the back, but it doesn't matter. Sage is just better.
No health. And a couple plates just inside the zone. The gas mask is gone. He's gonna have to fight the team in third. No! Mexico on top. Sage goes down. It's still a fantastic map. They're gonna be at the top of the leaderboard, but it's the Mexico team winning their Mexico qualifier, still alive. Dave Samir, last alive for his team. A team wipe to boot. Mexico going big.
I really respect the ability from Sage to try and hit that mobile buy, but to no avail. But still, the Titans, the prodigal son, Tommy, on your screen, returning to the copper box, looking to find success. But you got to get through the end game first. 12 squads remaining, and they seem to be at least north of 8 eliminations. But with having to fight forward, utilizing Semtex, you can only imagine how to clear out a building. No connects, so they're making sure they can check, is anyone still inside this building? Can they get it for free?
They actually can get it for free. You're going to have Clown on the other side. You would love to grab a knock here, and he knows they're in there. There's the grenade knock. TBE, they call themselves TBE because they're the best ever. Tommy goes big for 8 currently and should find a 9th. They've got high ground position, they've got player advantage. Tiff, this could be the map they need to creep inside not only the money, but potentially the top 10.
The money starts at top 25, so halfway through the lobby, and now you've got them on the roof. You hear the signal 50, but Team Braxton, they're not gonna let TBE take it so easily, as Braxton absolutely turns on that guy, able to get just inside before falling, but finesse and capitalizing on the rest of Team Huskers.
This is such a fun team to watch. Again, another team that on paper are underdogs, but really, can you call anyone underdogs in this stadium? They've earned the right to be here, and they have a chance to go big to win map 3, but you've got to go through the behemoths that are TBE, who have the clear advantage. Signal 50 in hand, sure, you'll connect, but can you find a knock and a full wipe? You love to drop some of these teams of 3 down to 2. Gain every advantage you can. They don't get the zone pull, but it's still not a bad one because they've got angles, and they've got, at least Tommy's got a gas mask to use.
We're into the top 5 as Team FIFA Kill goes down, and guess who's got the pull? It's going to be Team Braxton, but TBE look to capitalize on that, but they don't have any Semtex. They've got to do it with the Lockman and close the distance. Braxton chows, he takes down, and Tommy with the signal 50, anchoring for the squad, hits the Hail Mary flare before he goes down. connect because Noobs is landed. He hits the flare. We knew it was going to be a flare warfare, and StuKX able to end Team Lovey, and now we're into the final 3.
TBE not only got everyone back with flares, now we've lost Noobs, and Omen gets shot out of the eye. The sky is just Tommy last alive. What we thought could be a TBE victory now, all signs are pointing to Team Braxton. No, Benzie Boogs going huge, finessing falls. It's Tommy versus Boogs, and there's one other team remaining. Who else is floating in the sky? It is Braxton, still up. Tiff, 3 teams, 4 players. Tommy finding some weapons.
We saw another member hitting the mobile buy. We're getting Finessing back to join Braxton, and he was able to grab a sub on the roof. What looked dire for Team Braxton is starting to look a little better. He's able to grab a signal as well. Boogs and StuKX, you may have the high ground, but we're doubling down. Tommy with the starter. Tommy knocks Braxton before he gets traded out by Finessing, but Finessing doing his best to anchor. This is looking so good for them, and they take it. They take game number 3.
Map 3 victors. Team Braxton go massive. Zone pull, but thinking on their feet. Congratulations. Another Omit victory.
Omit on top, Goosh? Omit on top. Something about those players are just performing different on land. We've seen it throughout all of the stages. Stage 1, Stage 2. Last chance qualifiers, they were all remote, and the questions were asked, would our players be able to perform on land, on this stage, in front of a crowd, more than 2,500 people in the building cheering them on, and they're locked.
It's an incredible team that's come together. A fellow Tennessean with Braxton, Finessing, been in the scene since way before Warzone, even into Blackout, and yet they're still proving that they're one of the best here on main stage. Map 3 victors. That's huge for their point totals. I'm gonna have to look back and see where they were. I don't think they were in the top 10, Tiff, but you can see the excitement on his face. They're pumped about that.
Look, I'm pumped, right? You have to think about the journey that our players have made. They've been grinding, crawling for whatever tournament they could get their hands on, but to perform and take a coveted win, a map win on LAN is something that hardly anyone can say, and so far we've had 3 different winners. Soka, map number 1, Biffle, map number 2, and Braxton taking map number 3.
Look, I gotta give a shout out to TBE